Hey there, so today I want to do something that I haven't done in a while. I had a request to do a comic book number analysis, and why not? Let's do one. Now, if you've never tuned in with one of these for some reason, that's basically looking at the decline in sales in comic books and what exactly is going on. It has been a mess, too. It has been a calamity. It is continuing to go on. You see prices rising, and you see demand continuing to fall. That has been going on for quite some time, and well, it doesn't seem to be backing off. Now, before I get into that, if you have not checked out the case of the Littlest Umbrella, I would ask you to do so. It's been doing really well. We have about 17 days left on it, and we've had 936 backers. So thank everybody who's done that. I appreciate you all. I have to say, it has been an insane ride, dealing with some of the crazies out there. In fact, I do not know if I would ever do anything like this had I spotlighted what this would be like beforehand. I mean, it is absolutely insane. It's honestly, I don't know if it's worth dealing with. But anyway, looking at this, I wanted to do an all ages Lovecraftian experience, something to basically leave something for my daughter to enjoy, for myself to enjoy. All of us should be able to experience comics and have fun. There are 2 comic books that are added to this. You have Kyung Lee on the first one with myself, good stuff there. And of course, on the second comic book, we have, the Goody Bird. Now, the Goody Bird, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun too. You may recognize a few faces there. That's because this is an homage to Comic Gate. Now, we also have a lot of satirization in this, but yeah, lots of fun there for sure. Now, getting back to comic book numbers, what you'll notice over the last few years is decline, falling. We're going to see that demand. We're going to see it falling off. It starts in 2017, 10% reduction. 2018, 6% reduction. 2019, 2 months. So we see another 1.59% reduction. So demand-wise, and this is just shops, demand-wise, we are talking about almost an 18% reduction in demand in 2 years and change. Now, the pricing point, of course, now is improving. Why? Because you have some of the most expensive comic books you have ever seen. Pricing points, they continue to grow higher and higher, and it's going to kill shops. I mean, we're looking at the hastening of the demise of the comic shop, and that is insane, and it's sad to look at. Now, what you've also seen here is an interesting thing that showcases the difference between other companies and Marvel. DC, for example, they decided to cut their slate back. If we're talking February 18 to 19, 88 comics to 59 comics. You also see Image doing that, going from 70 last year to 47 because they're trying to trim back, and they're supposed to be offering you better comic books, because if you go out and you look at what's happening there, you're not selling comic books. That is the problem. Comic books are not selling. Quality is declining, and going out and shoving out more and more garbage, it basically kills shops. Marvel, though, they benefit from the fact that they're going to gain over 9% more dollars worth of material versus the performance then. Diamond also liquidated many leftover Marvel variants from 16 and 17, although Marvel would have beaten its prior performance without them. So you see what's happening here. You have more comic books being released by company. And of course, when you think about these numbers, they are units shipped to comic book stores. So the people that are on the hook for them, not customers, no, the people that are out there are the shops that are dying. Remember in 2017, 50 shops collapsed. 2018, 80 to 100. This year, it looks like it's going to double that. It is absolutely insane. Now, when you look at this stuff too, now when you're getting into it, you're actually seeing the cover price decline overall. But if you look at certain covers, the reason that that's happening is because you don't have $9 or $10 covers in there yet. I'm sure next month when we see a certain big number comic book pop up, you're going to see that price jump up because you're going to have monster comics. Also, we don't have any number ones in here, so we don't have a $5 to $7 comic book there. But the average price of them, Batman Who Laughs, it pushes over 101,000 units there. It's still at $5. Batman, we're talking about something that is declining here, but remember, Batman used to be $2.99. Now it's $3.99. So still there's money to be had there. Venom, it's holding at about 85. You're looking at Heroes in Crisis still performing over 80. And it's been interesting to see things like Amazing Spider-Man, how far they've gone down from 1 to 15. You can see the decline from 15 to 16 as well. Just keep chipping away and chipping away. Avengers No Road Home, it ships at around 65,000. And when you go in, look at how many comic books actually make it over the 50,000 mark. 22 comic books over 50K. That says a lot, I think. Savage Sword of Conan, when you're talking about #1 debut, it only comes out at 47,420 shipped. That's sad. I actually want the Conan books to do well, but at the same time, when you look at this stuff, it's hard to back. You don't really want to back these companies. These companies have engaged in predatory practices. They've engaged in most unprofessional endeavors I've ever seen. In comics, it's a grab bag. It's grabbing everything you can before the industry falters. And when we falter, I don't know where it'll go. Hulk Verines, I haven't even looked at that. God, I don't know if I want to. Looking at 38. You can see where Conan is actually ending up by now. 38,000 units. Again, that's sad because they get the license back, and of course they've put out, to their credit, they have put out some amazing trade paperbacks. But yeah, Age of X-Men, you see these popping up here. They're steadying about 32,000. Of course, Star Wars, you got another Star Wars at 32,000. But when you look at the numbers, evening out by 30,000, you'll notice that you have 60 comic books that perform at over 30,000. You can see the decline on Savage Sword of Conan too. If you go back and you look at those numbers, it's kind of crazy, right? When you look at here, 47, and then when you start looking by #2, you're talking about a 17,000 unit decline. So that doesn't bode well for the future there. Female Furies, every time I see that, I want to say female furries, but looking at that, yeah. Then we go over the 20,000 threshold. You'll notice that there's 84 comics that come in there. And what's particularly telling are how many comic books are performing under, say, the 15,000 line. That is absolutely insane to see. Looking at some of these titles too, there was a time when you had this expectation that things would hold on, and yet they haven't. Freedom Fighters, it continues to dip. It's something that I thought might actually be interesting, but again, name-wise, it'll probably get canceled before all 12 come out. Look at some of these, like House of Whispers, where they were supposed to perform at versus where they're at, because the excitement over #1. It's fallen off. And again, look where we're at. Some of these titles here, with the expectation, that you have versus actual performance, it is, again, absolutely insane. You can see the new comic releases. If you look at those numbers, you see that pushing off. IDW releasing 20 comic books. That's these performance numbers. When we're talking about them, they are low because, when you go out, again, when you think about sales, this is not the performance that you expect from an industry like we've been looking at. And you can look at the trade paperbacks here. Trade paperbacks, there's some titles in there that you expect to do well, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on those. Now, when we're rolling back up, one thing that I do want to show you here as well is where everybody balances out as far as sales go. We're looking at the columns on the left. That's why I'm zooming up here. You can see the units, the share prices of overall dollars and on. So the overall units, you can look at how, like an IDW, they have fallen significantly. They're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. 7th place in overall units. And when we're talking about overall dollars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place. This was a company that used to hold right there steadily. And now, well, look at them. They have fallen apart. You can see the snapshot of this industry. It is unhealthy, particularly for specific companies out out there, and the way that the companies act or interact, it's the same thing. They always act and interact exactly the same way as they have in the past. Nothing ever changes. So anyhow, I thought that it would actually be good to cover there. I thought that we could go over that, and I thought maybe you could, enjoy a snapshot of this. I will try to periodically bring all of this stuff up here. Again, if you haven't checked out the case of the Littlest Umbrella, make sure that you get into that. This, like I said, it's something that I wanted to put out there because we need more all ages comics. We need a little bit of that homage to horror, and we also need an homage to the wonderful people out there that have been involved for so long in this crazy little thing that we call Comicsgate. Satirization of that, satirization of some of the people you run across. Again, you can have a lot of fun with it. Oh man, it's been an interesting ride. But anyhow, tell me what you think about this. Leave your comments, and I appreciate it. Thank you.